What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash, coming back to Funeral Takes. Well, you guys, it's that time again. It is movie news time. There is quite a few things I want to discuss. Okay, some will be, of course, in regards to things being, of course, rebooted. Then we have some things where I'm just kind of giving you a little update on some other stuff that is starting production, and then a couple of new stuff that's coming, across the pike that I really want to get into, that I'm actually intrigued with the overall story. So you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I'm very excited about, because this is one of those ones that I'm actually looking forward to. It is considered a reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. The original one came out in 1985, and I loved it. And this has to do with Red Sonja. I had talked about this, I want to say, probably earlier in the year, late last year, but definitely earlier in the year, how I was excited about them considering making this. Now, from what they're saying, stated at the time, it was supposed to be Bryan Singer who was going to direct this, but due to the fact that we were dealing with some information came out in regards to some accusations that were being put out there, I want to say late last year, probably around fall time, whatever, they put the reboot kind of like on a hold of sorts earlier this year. So now I was finding that they have Millennial Films, is the company who is now deciding that they finally have seen the light, and we actually have a new director who will be writing and directing. Her name is Jill, I want to say Soloway. Now, I am familiar with her work because she definitely is part of an award-winning show, a TV show called Transparent. That is a good show, but she's worked on other shows in the past that I like. She did 6 Feet Under, and she was also a part of a show that I really love, was the United States of Tara. I am elated that they finally figured someone who they think would probably be a better fit. Now, I know some people were not too happy with Bryan Singer, not just for the simple fact of these, alleged allegations, but the fact also that they wanted somebody else to direct it, and also somebody being a woman. Let's just be honest, really. And I said, you know what? It is what it is, and sometimes it does kind of, play a part. This particular part being that it's a spinoff from the Conan franchise, with the original one being started with, you remember, Bridget Nielsen, and I loved her and hers. I'm excited about this. I'm very happy. I think there was another person who was trying to vie to be able to direct this. I want to say her name is Amber Tamlin. She wanted to do it, but, she loved Red Sonja. She even dressed up as her during Halloween, so she has love that surpassed all these years, whichever. But you see, we have somebody else who's going to be doing and taking on that mantle. I'm happy that it definitely will be Jill. I'm excited to see what she's going to do. She has a little ways away, whatever. It's going to give her a little bit of time to kind of get into the fold. They are now working on the script as we speak. I am happy about that. So I'm curious also, once they start getting the script writing, and they're getting towards it, finalizing the script, and they now want to start looking, I'm trying to really decide who they could possibly fit into that role. That's going to be very interesting. I know names are jumping out at me. I think a couple months back I did kind of throw a few names out there, but I'm not thinking of anything right now. My mind's kind of drew a blank. But I'm excited to see who they will pick. That will be nice. And there's nothing wrong. I hope they have a lot of different options of people who are vying for this, because I feel like if this one does very well, they might want to try to do a second one. It really does depend on how good the first one does. Let's just be real. So, but yes, I've always loved the Conan franchise. When that one came out back then, I was just like, oh, okay. We weren't introduced to her in the original, one of the original Conan movies. So when she definitely got her spinoff, I was like, okay, I could get with this. And Bridget Nielsen playing her, she worked with what she had. She did. Wasn't a lot of extra, words in a lot of her scenes, whichever. It was definitely a lot of action, fighting, and of course Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it, so it is kind of added to that. And she probably needed that extra, clout with him being there, which helped it for what it was. I consider it kind of like a cult classic of sorts to me personally, because I still love it to this day. So with that said, when I know more about, of course, what's happening with the script, and I figure since she just came on board recently, hopefully the rest of this year, because I want to feel like if they're kind of getting it together this year, we might hear about casting towards the end of the year, early next year. They might try to put it out next year, or this could be something that might be something circa for more along the lines of 2021. So, but yes, definitely, as I say, when I know more, you all will know more about that one as well. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is just kind of like a little bit update on some movies that I'm excited about. They're finally starting production. One of them being The Invisible Man. I've talked about it off and on for the last couple of weeks. I'm so excited for this, but also we're hearing somebody else has been cast with this particular one, and this is Aldous Hodge. Now, I'm a fan of his work going back really a long time. He, of course, was in the recent movie, of course, What Men Want with Taraji P. Henson. He was also in what was it? Straight Outta Compton. He also was in Hidden Figures. But some of the stuff I liked from back in the day when nobody kind of really knew who he was, he did an episode of Supernatural, because I'm a fan of Supernatural, and he also was on a show. Shout out to the show Leverage. I loved that show with Timothy Hutton. So I'm excited to see that he's actually in this. Let me put it like this. I'm excited for Invisible Man, but what's bugging me a little bit still to this day is the fact that we're getting all these other cast members I consider more in the supporting aspect of it, because I'm wanting to know who's playing the Invisible Man. Who is that character yet? They're giving us all these other people. We have, of course, Elizabeth Moss was the first one that we heard about. Then I discussed how we were hearing about Storm Reed, and then we got, what was it, another name, of course, him, Aldous Hodge now. So I'm just like, okay, who is actually going to be playing the Invisible Man? Now, I definitely put out 2 names, and it seems like right now we still don't know anything. They won't say anything, but they're supposed to be starting production in a couple of weeks. They're starting in July. So I'm hoping that we'll hear something probably by next week, going into the first week, maybe after the 4th of July holiday or something, because I just find it really interesting how because they won't say exactly in what capacity Aldous Hodge's character is in this movie, which I love the secrecy, but he is definitely not playing the key role of the Invisible Man. So I'm looking forward to seeing, if his, character has anything to do with Elizabeth Moss, circa whichever, because let me kind of read a little bit of the synopsis so you all can understand. This revolves around a woman, which is played by Moss, and it shows that she's haunted by the memory of her abusive ex-boyfriend. And says after he commits suicide and starts to wonder if he might not be as dead as she thinks he is to be. And it says it sounds like, very intriguing, because they're kind of updating it a little bit, and I love that. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing, like I said, if they've either picked Armie Hammer or Alexander Skarsgård, or they're going with somebody else. They say it's a possibility. You never know. Johnny Depp might still come back to play the character. It's kind of been left open, so it's a possibility there. I don't know. So I'm just looking forward to seeing, whoever they pick. It's almost like it's some sort of build-up, like anticipation for them to give us the psych, to give people kind of psych, whatever. I don't know a lot of people who are searching and waiting and excited for this. I'm just one of those individuals. Some other people could be. This is considered part of the dark universe, even though that didn't kind of turn out well. But they've kind of, given this particular character where Blumhouse has come into play. We have director and writer for it, Leigh Whannell. So I'm sticking right with it. Regardless if it's either one of those gentlemen, I still want to see this movie. I love what Blumhouse has been doing with a lot of their movies, especially when it deals more aside on the thriller horror aspect. So I'm excited to see who will get the prize and be the Invisible Man, and then we can kind of move from there. Now, the date, again, this is March 13th, 2020, so, yeah, like I said, it starts production acclaim in July, mid-July, going towards late July, so we're going to get the ball on, so by the time fall, winter comes, this will be done, because I figure by the time the end of the year comes, January, we should be, or at least December, we should be getting a trailer. So I figured this movie might last maybe 3 months in production, I'm thinking, and then by then, we should definitely be seeing something. Some stuff might, you never know, get leaked. Some people do. So, but with that, you guys, moving on. Now, this one is definitely something I'm just hearing about. Production actually just started, and this has to do with The Quiet Place too. I'm excited for this. You already know, hearing about the casting, the people who are coming back, the new people coming. Now we have just information definitely about it starting. You already know John Krasinski, since he's no longer going to be in the sequel, he's still on board to direct. I'm excited. Emily Blunt will be back. The 2 older kids will be back. The characters, let me get their names correctly. Noah Jupe and Millicent Simmons, they're coming back. And then also, I had already told you earlier, a couple of months back, that Cillian Murphy has joined the cast, an undisclosed, character. They don't want to give any information. And then I just recently told you, I think a couple of weeks ago, that Brian Tyree Henry is on board to play as a role basically we don't know anything about as well. So both their roles are under wraps. They will not give us any information. And in some ways, I'm kind of glad. They're being very elusive, and there's nothing wrong with that. It makes it even more exciting because, as I told you all for months on end, every time I discuss this one, how are they going to do the sequel? Is it going to be more of a prequel in some aspects of the storyline? How these particular aliens or creatures came, to Earth, or how did they, end up here, or are they going to show, stuff circle after what happened in the first one with the family? Are they having to, upship and go somewhere else because they're kind of out and exposed now, but they have a kind of a little bit of an edge or a leverage on the creatures to kind of, subdue and get an upper hand. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Also, I made a comment how I was wondering if Cillian Murphy might be one of the bad. He does play occasionally a good guy, whatever, but he's really, to me, known as being a big bad in a lot of the movies he plays. So I'm curious about that. Same thing with Brian. He can play either or, good guy, bad guy. So I just don't know in what capacity either will be. Like I said, I am down for not knowing everything. I don't always want to know all the ins and outs of the storyline, so it just gives a little extra, intrigue with the movie per se, so, because like I said, the first one was, like they said, a sleeper hit. It came out of nowhere. The trailer was something definitely different and inventive. And, when you're doing a sequel to stuff, especially when the first one does well, you always hope that they do well with the secondary, because if they don't, people will just rake it over their coals. So I feel like the way John directed the first one, he did an amazing job, and it was his directorial debut, you guys. So that was just, kudos to him. So I feel confident, if he doesn't have any extra, like, no pressure on him, he will be able to deliver. So that's what I really feel like. So I'm excited about that. Now this one, another one for March. This is March 20. Look at that. A week apart from the one I just told you guys about, which was Invisible Man. See that competition right there. But like I said, I like that. I don't need everything to be spaced out. Give it to me, because that just means I'm just going to be in the movie theaters every week. So, and I love that. I'm a movie buff. I love it. So this is another one where we're getting a little bit more information about production and some people being added to the actual cast. And this is one of those ones I'm definitely looking forward to. I've talked about it many a times, and that is Black Widow. This particular one, I already told you how the director for this is Kate Shortland. I'm excited about that. Secondary, I told you how the casting is looking good. We have Florence Pugh, we have David Harbour, and we have Rachel Weisz. Right there was enough for me, but now we're getting somebody else I'm actually excited is coming on board, and his name is Ray Winstone. He is a phenomenal actor. He's been in many movies. A couple of them I love, like Jawbone. He did Cold Mountain. Two of my favorites he did was Edge of Darkness and The Departed. So I'm so excited and hyped that he's attached to this. They're claiming, and let me just kind of read, it said, Marvel says they were looking for kind of like a European Caucasian male who is roughly between 50 and 60 years old. Of course, with Ray, so I think he's 61, 62. Fits right in there. He fits that perfectly. So that's awesome. I don't know anything about exactly what his character will be. They're keeping that really hush-hush under wraps. So nothing wrong with that. I don't want them to give too much away. I still don't know exactly how they're going to be doing the overall story all the way through. I feel like we're definitely going to get the flashbacks of her. This will definitely be some sort of a prequel to Black Widow prior to her coming on with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., dealing with Marvel, with the Avengers, excuse me. So I'm excited about that. I keep hearing little birdies saying that it's possibility we'll see aka Iron Man from past dealings prior to what happened, of course, in Avengers Endgame. That would be nice if Tony Stark aka shows up. I would love that. Look forward to seeing who else from Agents will show up in this movie. I feel like it's going to be a couple of faces, very well known faces that'll probably, pop in, within her movie and all. But like I said, this is all hers. This is all about Black Widow, aka Natasha, aka Scarlet, doing her damn thing. And like I said, this was long overdue. So I'm just happy we are finally moving this along. I still don't understand why we don't have an actual date for this actual one. Hopefully they'll give us something soon. I want to think this is coming out next year, but I feel like we might be getting this pushed back to 2021 because there's a lot coming out next year. So we'll have to see. I just really surprised by that. At least we know they've already started production actually already. She's already in the thick of it. There's a couple of pictures that are floating out there. So I'm just looking forward just seeing the other characters, and hopefully something will be put out there on social media about a little bit about the storyline. That would be nice. I don't even know everything, but just a little bit, just a teeny bit, just a little bit. That's all I want, so. But with that said, you guys, moving on. Now this one is another one I've been talking about off and on for the last couple of posts with movie news. This has to do, of course, with Shang-Chi. I'm excited because I give you all like a good 5 guys that I was considering, that I was looking at. Well, it looks like we're getting down to 2. and I'm discussing, I want to say, Ludi Lin and Ross Butler. Now, also, I'm hearing that they're looking at Donnie Yen to possibly do another character, and I'm thinking from all the little whispers I'm hearing that he might be playing the character Mandarin in this. So I'm excited and hyped now. Ludi Lin, of course, if you all are not familiar with him, he was a part of the movie Marco Polo on Netflix, and also he did Power Rangers movie, the one that came out a couple years back. I'm excited for that. He did very well in that. He was also in an episode of what is it? I want to say Black Mirrors. Secondly, with Ross Butler, he's doing his thing too. He was, of course, one of the heroes in Shazam, and he's also been a part of shows like Riverdale, and I think what is it? It's another show, 13 Reasons Why. Where I could be saying the name incorrectly. My apologies, but I don't watch that particular show. But yes, now for these two, they're definitely very skilled martial artists. That does help. Now I think Ludi Lin, I think is 5'10". Ross, definitely skilled as well. He's considered 6'2". So, I mean, his presence alone would be just, what they need. But I know from what I'm hearing, Louis Lin has made it very well known on, I think, on social media, I think Twitter, whatever, like he really wants that role in this Marvel movie. So, if it's between the two of them, because they're narrowed out, they have not made the decision yet. So, we'll have to see how that pans out. But those two right there are a perfect, consideration. So, either or is fine. I'm just looking forward to them figuring it out because they're about to be getting certain production this summer over in Australia. So they just kind of need to just move that baby along. Let's get this going. Also with that, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what else they're planning to do with the rest of the casting. I want to see who else is going to be a part of this. That will be very nice. Like I said, what is it? Destin Daniel Cretton is the director. I'm excited about that. And I'm just excited for this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing this Asian superhero. It's going to just be awesome. Like I said, with Marvel, with Black Widow, long overdue. They put out so many other different movies. It's like, yeah, I want them to mix it up a little bit, whichever. We'll still see other movies from some of our favorites because they have a couple of them have sequels going to be coming out, moving on, into the phase 4. So I'm definitely looking forward to them picking somebody, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, probably before the end of July, we'll probably know exactly who got the role. And I'm hoping Donnie, he definitely is vying for that. He already has a kind of in with Disney. He's going to be in the new Mulan. I'm like, so right there, they, let's just be honest with you, whichever, he'll probably consider it. And if this is right, he'll probably do it. So that will be nice. And I'm hoping he is in that, whichever. Plus it's more, just a little bit more, not to say he needs it, whichever, he's an international star, whichever, and all that, but just, out there more to the sphere, and maybe this will give him, more options, down the road for some other stuff, across the pond, in American, films or whichever. So you never see, that extra Marvel pull, having that on there, and through Disney, no less. All that stuff works to your favor. So with that said, looking forward to this. I will keep you posted. Once I know, I will definitely let you all know who has now got the key role for that particular character. Now this one I'm excited for because I love the pairing because it brings back these two particular collaborations between an actor and a director. This has to do with the movie titled Killers of the Flower Moon. This is based, of course, off of a novel. But I'm looking forward to this because it's going to have a director, which is Martin Scorsese, and then the actor / producer will be Leonardo DiCaprio. Excuse me, guys. I got a little tongue-tied every time with his name. Every time. I'm excited for this one. Like I've stated before, I love some of their collaborations in the past. Of course, them doing The Aviator, doing Gangs of New York. He did a movie, The Departed. I love it. I really could go on when he did, what is it, the Wolves of Wall Street. Just, you name it. I just love when they work together, and I know they were probably waiting to find another good collaboration. I think this is one of those ones that was in talks for quite a couple of years, whichever, and I think they finally got somebody to come on board, to like a financier to, get it ball rolling, so to speak. So I'm kind of glad. Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of the synopsis for this. This was definitely based off of a best-selling nonfiction book by, what's his name, David Grant. I had to note my own notes. For this particular one, let me kind of read off what it says. It basically it centers around, reveals how murders of several Osage natives ultimately led to the creation of the FBI from the then recently formed Bureau of Investigations. Now that right there, I'm excited about, because when you see all the other movies I kind of talked about in regards to Leonardo doing with Martin Scorsese, he's very selective about his roles. I've said it numerous times about him. He always picks certain roles, that you kind of see. Case in point, The Revenant. When you think about certain things that happen to the Native Americans, I just love that he always wants something. He likes to push himself in a lot of his roles, whichever, and dig really deep in a lot of the roles, whichever and all, and then bring forth certain attention to certain things that, you probably would not really think about, whichever, and I love that, whichever. It's rather refreshing. So a couple of actors who do that, but I know Leo is very well known for that. Coming from far away, he came from Growing Pains to what he does now. I love the caliber of work that he puts out, and I love that he has been very selective over the years, and he can pick and choose as he wants, whichever, but I like that he's willing to take these roles, and then certain directors that I love, work with him, and they put forth good work and put out a good product, for us to go and see at the movies. This will be one of those ones I will definitely go see. Like I said, I like both of them, so I'm looking forward to this. This is just in the beginning stages. Like I said, he's got a financier or somebody to back it with the money, got the actual, movie company and all that, and production. So they'll eventually start getting this done, because if I'm not mistaken, if they're trying to do this, they have to start the ball rolling this year, because I want to know they want to have this out by late next year, fall, winter. And like I stated, there's a lot coming out next year. So if they want to be, I'm assuming, get it in there for the time for the award season, that's probably what I'm thinking, because if not, it will get pushed back to 2021. So I feel like we're finally hearing news that means they're going to definitely start, figuring out the rest of the, cinematography, all the good stuff, actors, supporting, everything, you name it. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this. I want to see who else was going to be cast, because I feel like it's going to be a great cast. It's starting for great. Leo's at the helm. And this is going to be one of the ones I definitely want to see. So when this comes out, and when I know more about this one, I definitely will be posting about more about this particular actual movie, or upcoming movie, excuse me. Now this is another one I'm looking forward to, and I love how the scales of the different types of movie genres or whichever. This one being more of it's definitely going to be drama, but it's definitely going to be an aspect more so in regards to the fact this has to do with kind of like a stage play that's on Broadway, and this has to do with a movie called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Now this, like I stated, was a play that came out back in the mid 80s, like 84, I want to say 84, 85, and this has to do with the character, like I said, Ma Rainey's is based off of August Wilson's, play. Now, for this one, this has to do, and I'm kind of reading from my notes, whichever, about like an African-American blues singer. She was considered the queen of the blues back in those days. I want to say circa Chicago 1927. Now, let me give you a little bit of the synopsis for this, because the persons who are going to be involved with this is produced by Denzel Washington, and this will also be starring Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman. Right there is enough for me. That has me already hyped to even consider seeing this. Now, for what they're stating, it says the story dives into the issues such as race, art, and religion when Ma Rainey's band members Cutler, Toledo, and Slow Drag and Levy gather to record, putting together some good music. Now it says tensions begin to boil in the studio because Ma Rainey, her white producer, and the bandmates, as the underlying issue of white producers exploiting black recording artists comes to a head. This will be a very interesting one, whichever. I'm a music fan, a music buff to no end. And as you all know, the way they phrase that is true. Back in those days, when they're trying to make music, they couldn't get all the things they wanted done if you were not in control or in charge of owning your own record company labels or producing whichever and all that. You had to work with individuals, and sometimes certain individuals wanted to have all the control. They wanted to be the ones in control of how the music got out, who gets what money, all these things, you name it, whichever. All pertain to having most control over that, and they love to enjoy the music, of African American, the blues, rock, whatever you want to call it, whichever. And if they can get some money out of that and money out of you, oh yes, that was just how it was done in those days. And let's be honest, in some ways, to present day as well. Not so many of them probably consider doing that, whichever, because let's just be real. When it comes to music nowadays, I listen to a lot of artists that are independent, because, I can use an example. If you all remember when Left Eye literally broke down how they make the money and how they ended up broke, whichever, when she was laying off all the different people you have to pay, all these people, they give you that money off the cut, whichever, but then you got to pay everybody back, whichever. Secondly, some of them, when you're making this money, you come in these contracts, off the cuff, you already know you give most of that money to them. Now, if you keep your, all of your stuff, like, how Prince did with all his money, all his stuff, that his music he put out was all his. Nobody could take that. You gotta be like that. Some places are not so easily, because if you're coming in and you're a new singer, whichever, you can't do that. So I find that rather, interesting how they're going to delve into this, because this is something I can definitely be harbored on, and this is something that a lot of artists probably could discuss in more detail from just a little bit I'm saying, because I know nothing about it full say because I don't deal in music in that way. But this is what I'm definitely want to see, and I want to see how this whole situation transpires and what happens with the overall conclusion. Now, HBO was supposed to be attached to this, but of course, as I stated to you all, Netflix has come on board, so that's gonna be interesting. I still love my HBO, don't matter. Netflix is doing their damn thing. It's all good, but I'm excited for this. I'm looking forward to seeing Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman because I don't think they've ever worked together. Did they work together? I could be wrong. I think they did. I could be wrong. I'm trying not to. Did they do the James Brown movie together? I think they did, if I'm not mistaken. I think they did. I could be having a moment, whichever. But needless to say, moving on. But yes, just the fact that they're pairing and that Denzel's attached to this, I'm really totally down for that. And I want to throw out some other names of some other actors that I'm very well known with that I had to note down for you. We're going to have Glenn Tuman. He's going to be in this as well. We have Coleman Domingo in this, and we have Michael Potts. So I'm excited about these other individual actors being in this because they are very well established, especially Glenn Tuman. I'm very familiar with his work. So I'm excited to see how this will turn out. Don't know exactly when production actually starts. So hopefully, I know Denzel's getting ready to do a movie with I want to say Rami Malek soon, and I think it's called, what is it called? It's called The Little Things. I'm excited about this. Kind of a suspense thriller. I know Chadwick has a movie coming out later this year. It's called 21 Bridges. I already did a reaction to that a while back. Looks really good. Viola Davis is going to be in the new Suicide Squad movie, and of course How to Get Away with Murder is coming back this fall. So everybody's busy. They're all doing their thing. I'm excited for it. So yes, I will definitely keep my eyes open on this one. I expect this to be really good, and I'm kind of glad either one, HBO or Netflix, will do whichever. But you know what, Netflix lately, they're just knocking it out of the park with a lot of good movies, so kudos to them for that. Now this one right here, I'm really intrigued to see how this is going to pan out, if anything actually comes of this. But I'm definitely on board because we have a resurgence all of a sudden of a lot of movies where artists, you know, making like a biopic of sorts, whichever, and I'm kind of loving what I'm seeing. Of course, like I stated, Rami Malek did the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, so I was excited about that. And then we have, gosh, what's his name, Taron Egerton did the movie Rocket Man, you know, in regards to Elton John. So now I'm hearing word that there's a biopic kind of slowly, you know, being, you know, creator in the mix of discussion, possibly written for Boy George. Now, let me tell you, I love me some Boy George. To this day, I love me some Boy George. I listened to him, it was early 80s, what, 83, 84, when he came out, like songs like Do You Really Want to Hurt Me, Everything I Own, Voulez-Vous, what was it, Victims, oh my gosh, The Crying Game. I love me some Boy George. He's just that voice, and I am definitely considered down to see this. Now, the reason I bring this up is because he was on a radio station recently, and he was talking to somebody, and they were asking him, you know, who he'd be interested in considering playing him in a biopic. Let me read what he said. He says, one of the most interesting suggestions was Sophie Turner. He says, people will say she can't play you, she's a woman. He says, you know, but when I was 17, I would have loved to have been her. Now, I'm going to post a picture of her and him side by side, and when you see the photo, I will say this. She does have a sheer eerie resemblance to him. Her playing his younger self back when he first came out in the 80s and 40s with his look and all that, she could do that. You know, now granted, the music with the lip syncing, fine. Now, if they're going to show her, like, you know, sing whatever, they would have to figure out how they would go about doing her overall look when she's, you know, of course, not in her capacity of, you know, singing the music of Boy George, you know, with Culture Club. I don't know. I know some individuals don't take too kindly at the thought of her doing this, and one in particular was, they said it was Pierre Morgan. I'm like, I'm not here for it. I said, this is Boy George's biopic. If this is how he feels, it's up to him. It's not up to him or anyone else. Now, it's up to the movie powers that be. They're putting together this and money's behind it, then yes, they definitely have to play a part and see how this would actually work out, how this could be doable. I think I'd heard whispers that she would totally be down to do this. I mean, you know, you never know. That is very interesting, just the thought of that. But we'll have to see. You know, they're talking about other aspects of the movie, you know, if he had any love interests, you know, how would they deal with that, whichever. That is something to consider. So I'm just not sure how they're going to go about this. If it's just the beginning talks with ramblings, whichever, and let the people, you know how they feel, whichever. And if they're kind of, you know, getting a vibe for this, if they see it is possible, it's doable, then you never know. We'll have to see, but yeah, she really does kind of favor him, definitely on his younger pictures, and a little bit in all that. It's all in those. It's all in those damn eyes. Like when you look at their eyes, it just looks so freaking similar. But yes, that would be something. She definitely has the height, whichever to put her in the clothes, whichever. You have to see how it is. It's just like it would be probably really eerie to see her all dressed up exactly like him from circa 80s. So, but with that said, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm going to keep tabs on this particular one because I'm interested in this one a lot, whichever. I would love for him to get a biopic because I would definitely watch that. So, but moving on from that. Now this one, I'm interested because a friend of mine had brought this to my attention. I had heard about it, but I wasn't really paying attention, but I really need to. And this has to do with the remake for the movie Black Christmas. Now, I love the original. And let me be honest with you, I love the original. Now, they did do a remake back when I say it was a 2006. It was okay, but it was not the original. I'm sorry. Some things are just like, the original still stands up to me in certain movies, whichever. And granted, that movie came out in the 70s, whichever. And when it came out, honestly, I was not even here yet. This came out, was it 74? Yeah, I was 75, baby. So yes, I saw it later in the early 80s, whichever. And it was fine because it was creepy. I watched a lot of those slasher things in the 80s when I was like 10 years old and 11. That's when I could really watch and whatever. My mom wasn't having it. So needless to say, of course, it's based off of a group of girls, in basically where they're being terrorized by some deranged killer, who keeps, dealing with them with these menacing phone calls, whatever, just real straight up creepy. And just the overall, movie, it was really creepy to me. I was scared watching that at night. And I was one of those ones when I watched movies like this, I knew better, but I would watch them in the dark. And sometimes it would be me and my brother, or sometimes I would do it alone, thinking I was like, I'm some strong girl, like I can take it. Nightlight on for like 2-3 days, the force filled up the cover with the nightlight. I was a mess. So, but yes, it was one of those ones I really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to this one. Now I'm getting information about who's being cast. I did hear that a person who's just recently been added to the cast was Carrie Ilwes. I'm very happy about that. I am a fan of him. I'm excited about him coming on board. That is awesome. Let me note the rest of the cast I wanted to put in because I wanted to know who else was going to be in this, because some of these names I'm not familiar with, and I'm not even going to lie. This person is Imogen Poots. I'm familiar with that one. That's one. The next one is Elise Shannon. Then we have, looks like to be Brittany O'Grady, Lily Donahue, and the last one looks like, two more. Caleb Eberhardt, and then a Ben Black. I'm just going to note all their faces somewhere up in here. Secondly, I love that this is going to be actually directed by Sophia Tallek. Now, she really is known more for her acting. She's recently delved into a couple of things where she's directed. She actually directed an episode of a TV show on Hulu titled Into the Dark. Did not watch that. I'd heard about that. I heard it was kind of good, so I said I'm about to check that out. But I'm excited because at least I can say that she definitely will have a good way of delegating the girls in this particular movie, which are coming from an actor's standpoint, whatever, so they can give us the best horror. And being that she did that little TV series Into the Dark, which kind of looks like it's a little bit of suspense, thriller in aspect, which is actually a good thing. Also, being behind the lens and in front. So I said that's actually a good thing. Her helping the actors, put out something, and also being, behind the camera, getting it straight. So I feel like, this one might turn out good, possibly. I'm hoping it will be. I just don't know. We'll have to see. I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to try my best to go and find it. It has been over 40 years, damn near. It's really, when it comes out, if they're doing it, I'm not sure if this is coming out. Is this coming out this year? Is it coming out this year? I think it might be from what I was hearing. I think they said it was coming out this year. So that means that this will be, if I'm doing my math right, this came out for 45th anniversary of when it first came out. God dang, it was so long ago. Jesus. Yeah, because this movie's in 1974. Oh my God, I just did the math on that damn thing. So yes, I am definitely looking forward to seeing the trailer for this. So I'm hoping they're already in production. So probably by the time September, October, we will get a trailer. And I'm hoping it is good. It needs to be good. Because Sophia's girl, if it's not, honestly, it won't be good for you, girl. And they will literally let you know that I love me some horror. So, and I know a lot of the young bucks, they will go see this new one, not realizing it's like, buddy, original ones are even better, but everybody wants to modernize. The older ones are still creepy. I don't understand this when they feel like they need to make a new one, like you're doing something special because you want to modernize, the technology and everything within the movie with a circa 2000 look, whatever, as if that really matters. But okay, I'll play along with that. So we'll see how that turns out. But again, like I said, I'll need to see the trailer. That'll let me know if I'm really gonna go out here and spend my money. I don't know how my friend felt, but he was like, I'm not sure about it, and I'm right there with him. I'm not sure about it also, T. So we both right there, bro. So, but moving on from that. Last and final thing, this is one of the ones I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, and this has to do with Top Gun Maverick. I said it before, I'll say it again, I am a fan of Tom Cruise. Love me some Tom Cruise ever since early 80s, ever since The Outsiders. I am here for this now. I remember the first one, Top Gun. Love that thing. That's a cult classic. One of the ones that really put him out there, leading man stature, whichever. And he's been a leading man ever since, going over 30 plus years. Now, for this one, I'm excited because I talked about how they literally were trying to figure out what to do, because if you are remembering the first one, Goose, his best friend, whatever, and of course dies and all that, and something happened, whatever, and him kind of coming to realization of certain things, how he was living, how he was carrying himself, whichever, and all that, and he's having those moments, of, realization or whichever, and of course, Kelly McGillis playing the love interest slash the teacher, whatever. Did we have my boy Val Kilmer in it? It was just everything. Now, on this one, literally for them to figure out who they want to have as Goose's son, because of course in this particular one, Tom Cruise's character Maverick will be playing, of course, kind of like an instructor and also kind of like a mentor to Goose's son. Now, this is the one where I said how we had three guys delving for this actual character. That was one was Nicholas Hoult. Then we had, what's my guy's name? Miles Teller. Excuse me, I had to write his name down. And also Glenn Powell. I'm going to tell you like this. When I put three of those guys' pictures up here, I'm going to tell you, I didn't think Miles Teller was going to get it. I really wanted Glenn Powell to get it. But come to find out, Nicholas Hoult is not in the movie, but Miles Teller got the coveted role of Goose's son, and also Glenn Powell's getting another role. So he's not going to be playing Goose's son, but at least he'll still be in a role. I really, to this day, still feel like it should have been him. But Miles Teller is a good actor, so I'm not going to fault him for that part, whichever. But I just thought overall, aesthetic-wise, he didn't look the part to me, honestly. And let me be real. If you put a picture of the way Goose looked in the previous one up against Glenn, I thought more of a similarities was there, but whatever, it must have been whatever he said in that dialogue must have got them sold, whatever, because I heard he definitely had to kind of rehearse or whatever for the role in front of Tom and a couple other people, and I know Tom definitely has some say in this bad boy, whatever. That boy has a lot of pull. So needless to say, I'm also hearing they're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this year. Excited about that. I'm hyped. A couple people won't be there this year, so I'm kind of glad they're bringing out some extra Top Gun of sorts out, whatever, to kind of make it exciting and explosive for a lot of people who might be fans of the Top Gun movie, and also Tom Cruise fan. Also, just the overall storyline, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a little definitely modernized, updated. I heard it's going to be more faster, more definitely some good scenes, with the aircrafts in the air. It's going to be just really good. It's going to be off the charts. They're really going to make sure it looks the part. Also, I'm hearing that in regards to the way they're going to showcase the military and all that, since we're in a different type of climate now, it's going to be, up-to-date, current, whatever and all that, but still give us all that excitement for the need for speed, all the things we want. Now, the casting, of course, we have, besides Tom, and of course, I tell you, Miles Teller and Glenn Powell, we're going to have Jennifer Connelly, we're going to have John Hamm. My buddy Val Kilmer is coming back. I'm so excited about that. And there's some other characters going to be. I did state how I know he talked about it, and I did say him. I know Jay Ellis will be in this as well. And there's some other people, but those are the ones that definitely stand out to me that I'm excited to see in this movie. Now, when this comes to San Diego Comic-Con, I think it was July 18th through the 21st. So that's going to be interesting. I will definitely be looking for footage just so I can see it, see how whoever's going to be coming. I know Tom will be at the helm. Also, in regards to the casting, in regards to the writing, whatever, I did hear that a collaboration in regards to the writing aspect, Christopher McQuarrie is helping in that aspect. That is a bonus. I love that because he did the damn thing in the last Mission Impossible movie. Number 6, Fallout, did awesome. So I'm glad he's putting his little stamp on it. Hans Zimmer is coming back to do the overall soundtrack, and then also, which made me very happy to hear, that Kenny Loggins will be back to do a song specifically for it. You all remember he did one in Top Gun the first time. I am so happy. I love me some Kenny Loggins, so I'm so excited to see, what the song is. I'm probably gonna end up buying the soundtrack anyway. I love the first soundtrack to Top Gun, so yes, this looks like it's gonna be great. I'm here for it. This comes out June 26, 2020. So like I said, there's a lot of good stuff coming out next year, you guys, and this is one of those ones I most definitely plan to see. I'm so beyond hype to watch this movie. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. So that is it, you guys. Comment below on anything I discussed. Give me your little feedback. You already know I like to chat with you all in the comment section. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next movie news. You guys take care.